Hi, welcome to another episode of Art Making from Comfortable Shoes Studio. I'm Leslie, and in this episode, I'm doing another comics inspired page. And in this one, I'm using that random warm-up method that Drewscape introduced on his channel. I'll put a link in the description to his channel where you start out with some random panels on your page. This time I'm using pencil to mark those out, and I have no idea where the story is going to take me. And so I'm just kind of sketching things in here, giving myself some room to work. And yeah, so these are my random panels, and later you'll see I kind of ignore the panels entirely. So, well, on the right hand side of the page. So I'm getting started with my paint sticks. I have been hooked on the paint sticks for a couple weeks now. They are big, they're bold, they're hard to control, and I just really like how vibrant the color is and how just good they look. So that was meant to be a 6, and that's a 0. I'm trying to emulate the look of an old-fashioned digital alarm clock. Because an alarm went off right before I started doing this. I was like, that's a good hook. We'll have an alarm go off. So I start with that, and the trouble with not using a sketch beforehand is I can now see that the 6 and the zeros are not at all the same size. That's fine. So I'm going in with black in that paint stick, and I'm working around the 6, the dots, and then the 0. And what I'm going to try and do is build up a couple of layers of these paint sticks so that it is making that glow that the red of the old-fashioned alarm clocks used to have. I don't know about y'all, but up until just a few years ago, I still used an old digital alarm clock because I had it and it worked great. And I didn't adopt a smartphone until I was in grad school. So I always had a flip phone and a dumb phone until then. And I really resisted getting a smartphone. Um, Other than that, I had the desire to text people more easily, and I had a I don't even remember what kind of phone it was, but my first smart-ish phone was one of those phones that had the slide out keyboard so that I can text more easily. But anyway, so yeah, I had one of these old-fashioned alarm clocks for quite a long time, and yeah. So anyway, I'm using the white to kind of blur out the and blend the red with the black. It does have a tendency, you can see that it's wet on the page. It has a tendency to kind of soften the colors a little bit, which is what I was looking for. I didn't want the red to be quite so harsh. I wanted it to have that look of a glow. Um, so, and I think it kind of worked. It looks a lot better in person than it does here. Um, so I'm just going back in with the black to really blacken it up. So this is real time as I'm sketching. Um, just trying to use something other than just black there. So I do have a tendency to mix black with like phthalo blue and ultramarine blue to get a better shade of black. I really like cool blacks. I think it just looks darker when you mix it with blue. Cools it off. So yeah. Um, Going in and adding the character, the pink head, and I want the glow of the alarm clock. next to the bed. So these paint sticks, I am about as detailed on this page as I possibly can be. They're not built for detail, and that's fine. I decide that the bed, the pillow, and the bedding is going to be um, green, but I also decide that there should be a hand visible. Um, so yeah, here we go. I don't know if, you know, my thought process is gonna come through in the final drawing or not. And I know that these are very rudimentary and simplistic cartoons. I'm not trying to be a master cartoonist here. I'm just trying to kind of play with the format and use the form of comics to journal a little bit, you know, so like, oh, here it's banality of the everyday you have to get up and go to work. It's the alarm clock going off. Um, so yeah, just darkening things up with blue, and then I'm gonna add some black here to really darken it up. So here I'm trying to achieve that glow of the alarm clock. And I think I achieve it here better than I did in the first panel. I also like these paint sticks are definitely have a learning curve to make for me to understand them. You know, these paint sticks are not something that I've used frequently. Like, yes, I've had mixed media sticks, but I've largely used the mixed media sticks uh kind of like giant oil pastels or water soluble oil pastels. In the case of these are a little different than gelatos or mixed media sticks in that they don't have a lot of open working time. So you can see here, like I add a little black because I'm trying to darken down the scene, and it doesn't blend. It doesn't blend well at all, and that's fine. You know, not everything is gonna blend well. So yeah, going in and trying to um, add more color, more blobs. so here I'm trying to show the glowing alarm clock as the character goes to shut it off. We've all been there. You've had the alarm clock going off. Got to shut it off. Got to hit snooze. So I'm trying to show that, angry red light and the pink hand and arm reaching for the angry red light. And I'm trying to get the black down on the page, but also add in some of the colors that I want to be in that scene. Learning more and more about how these materials work and how to successfully get the look that I'm going for. It's that angry red alarm clock. I've got a couple layers of red here, a couple layers of black. I'm using the green as a color opposite to make the red pop a little more. And I think I actually achieved what I was looking for here. It is absolutely an angry red alarm clock glow. And here is where I decide that I'm just going to ignore the panels that I put down. And unfortunately, I didn't go ahead. I should have erased them. As what I learned is that um, because once the paint stick goes over the top of the graphite, you can't erase it. It doesn't erase up. These paint markers really seem to, or paint sticks, really seem to bond with the paper in a way that um, is just not liftable. I don't remember what I was doing here. I think I was trying to show that the light was on. Um, Again, just sort of like blending and playing with the paint sticks to try and figure out what to do with them, how to work with them. I keep saying they're very inaccurate. You're not going to get good detail out of them in an art journal. They're really for broad strokes, for laying down a swath of color. And so here I decided I wanted to show the character in the shower. So the character is just all a pink stick figure, and then the blue lines are the shower. Um, wasn't thinking a lot about how to depict that. It's just going super simple with it. And here's where I really decide to just ignore the frames. So here's the character's red shirt. Gonna do some dark blue for the pants. And I accidentally grabbed the light blue, but that's fine. Jeans can be light blue. and I decided I want the character getting a cup of coffee because that makes every morning better. I'm just building the character up. Probably could have actually gotten the kind of flare out that I drew for my character in my kind of like character creation. Um, but again, like these materials are not particularly accurate. So yeah, so here's the coffee cup, bright blue sky, delicious cup of coffee. Um, yeah, it just makes everything better. I decided, well, the character actually, since they're not holding the coffee cup, they gotta make the coffee. So I draw an indication of a pour over on top of the coffee mug. So yeah, um, this page is far less successful than the previous page that I did of this exercise. I still really enjoyed this page and making this page, but it is less, I think, successful in the end than the first page that I made. It doesn't matter that it's not successful or it is successful. I mean, mainly I'm just like making a page about the repetitious nature of having to get up and go to work and what that's like, and how a cup of coffee sometimes makes everything better. Um, but yeah. So at this point, I decide I need to add some more details in here, and I grab the brush tip paint markers. Again, these are intended for children, and the colors are simplistic and bold and bright, and I am personally okay with it. So I clean up my number 6 here. Still looks like a number 5 to me, no matter what I do. Uh, and I'm just cleaning up some of this detail and sharpening those lines in the red. Um, I'm going to darken some of the black areas down in the lower frame. So here, yeah, I'm darkening in the black areas. One of the interesting things that I noticed with this brush pen and this page, the paint sticks, is that you can't see it on screen, but in person, it was lifting some of the black and into the tip of my brush. So I did end up cleaning it a couple of different ways. Um, and there are just spots where I was, adding in details here. So yeah, so basically at this point, I'm just like adding in details with the black brush pen, and adding in some of the frames that I ignored, creating new frames um, because I ignored the frames. And yeah. this is I'm just cleaning things up using the brush pens to add in more color, more detail, sharpening up the page here and there, making things more defined with these brush markers. Um, like I keep saying, I really enjoy the combination of the really, really loose sort of material of the paint sticks and then using the brush pen to add in more detail. Again, getting messed up, tripped up by that pale peach pinky paint marker, it really lifts up the black into the image and lifts up the color. So I ended up with this sort of sallow gray tone on the face where I used it. So I go back in with the bright pink and add in the bright pink again. It looks better tonally than that pale peach color. So anyway, that's my second foray into making an art journal spread using a cartooning comic style to tell a story. And again, this is directly inspired by Drewscape. I'll leave a link to his page, his YouTube, in the description. Uh, really enjoy it, really enjoy him, and I hope you enjoy this. I appreciate you being here. Um, Thanks, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.